هر جایی می‌بینید که اینمی شکرگزاری بود و خصوصا از کرا مثلا پلیس عسکر مربیه و یعنی تمام کسایی که وظیفه داشتن خدمتگزاری کردن ما را خوش ساختن. گفتیم الهی شکر که این ملت و این مردم یک جای شد و آقای کرزی که ببینه من فکر میکنم که شبکی خرید نمیبود و همونجوری رو میدیم که بسیار جگرش کن بود. برای که سالها این کاری کرد که مابین مردم اینمی درد انداخت و حکومت کرد تفریق انداز حکومت کن اینمی کار کرد، ولی بالاخره مردم یک جای شدن و فهمیدن دوست و دوستان خود. ما امیدوار هستیم که برادرای ما، برادرای ما، مادرای ما که دوستشان رو بشم سلام میگم برشان، اینا یک جای باشن، بار دیگر یک جای برن کسی را تعیین بکنن که خودشان میخواین که خودشان مردم سالاری باشه. و ما همین یک بیت نوشته کردم اگر اجازه باشه میگم بخوام.
بفرمایید.
دوست که شعرم نخوان.
بفرمایید.
دور در سال دنیا مستی شد قلم نامه نگار، با تاریخ زنده گردید یادم آمد زرنگار. موج در مرد تلاطم این جهان طوفانی شد، با دیدن غیرت افغانیان جانثار، غیرت و همت آورد ظلم را کردی فنا، دشمنان در لرزه افتاد نوجوانان دست نکار. پیشوان پیر طریقت، عاشقان و عارفان، عاشقان نیک ملت، هوشمندان هوشیار، از زمان الله غازی این وطن‌های بزرگ، یادشان آزاده مردان افتخار روزگار. خاک افغان نقشی از رو ورق تاریخ زن، آمد شاه میر ویس خان بود طواف روزگار، یاد چرخی یمین الله خان لوگری میربچه خان میر مسجدی سپهدار و عیار. در تلاطم روی آوی و تک پنشیر دمال روز ارغندا بلیدار کت ادو را تارمار، خود غلمان خلص افغان گرد تاریخ کردن، دشمن ملک و وطن را عاقبت کرد شرمسار. خانمچه گفت افغان گرد و انگلیس دوستان، میره بود و میدرید نایف و گرکه در فرار، و یاد مکاتم و پالت جنرال الفیستین یا یک برایدین سرکشید و جنرال اسکر سرمدار. سرکشیدی لشکری سختی کمونیست پاولوف در گروه پاولوف و لشکر همه دوستی یادگار، 35 سال ملت افغان بخون ساختن، ظالمان و قاتلان جاسوسان و سوسمار. صبح رفت صد آمد از سفید و شب آب، قل زنجیر خلق افغان در مرد مدار زن سنگسار، و شط و دشت حاکم زیر نام این و آن در منین یتیم و نیمه آق سویدان بیشمار. فکر میکردی ادو با زهر چند ساخته زبون، ملت افغان کشان چون رسم و استندیار، خلق افغان آهنین چون دجل محکم مستوار، کس نمیدانست که یک دل اصل یک دست چاریار. تا بلند شد جنده آزادی و عدل انتقام، شیر و شاهین با خوابان همدلان یار غار، بسته کستاندن فلسطین ظلم و استبداد را، دستایران گرد کفتار چند زمان و ایدهار، پیران پیشتر و نوجوانان زنده‌باد، با صدای علم و عرفان شد وطن را نمونسار. تا کسادن انتخاب خیش یا حکم روا، عد صفاکی میزن باز دادن اقتدار، این قیام عدادخواهی شد عدالت جاگزین ظلم و ظلمت، واد قانون برقرار شد جهان حیران و خاموشی، کنون از رد و داد سخت کمر بستن خلایق روی غلمان رستگار. خلق جرمن آفرین گفت داد نیست شعار، خلق افغان با غرور آزادند و حق گزار، و با ما عید مبارک گفت پشیمان از ذکار، 13 سال عمر برباد رفت حال ارزن بکار، از فرانس دنمارک و بلژیم و ناتوم ما نداشتیم فهم و دانش، خلق افغان خوشخبار. ساکنان دیار عنوان لیل افغانستان، مردم آزاده از افغانستان پاسدار، سوختندی چند تقاسان جنتی ثانی خدا، موسیقان و گلستان افغانستان گلزار، چندی از داخند ایران و لباس دوستی، قیدری لاهور و پنجاب چند روای مکار، یا زدن خود را به دانه دو ولی دشمن بدن، عاقبت شد چهره ظاهر چندین زهرمان. آنچه گفتیم و نوشتیم این صدای دل بود، از حقیقت و صداقت خلق افغان پایدار، یوسف استایسی زلیخا جنت کابل زمین، بی وطن گشتم عزیزان کس ندارم غمگسار، وستان روح و روان افغانستانم زنده باد، شاد باد، آباد باد، هم وطندار صد بهار که فنا باشی دیدار روح المانی وطن وستان افغانستان تادین بهار از علم و کار با عرض حرمت و
زنده باشید. تشکر سید، بسیار مقبول بود، بسیار تشکر، لطف مهربانی کردین. تلویزیون آریانا افغانستان بفرمایید.
نیاز محترم سلام علیکم.
من خدمت شما سلام و احترام تقدیم میکنم. بفرمایید سید، معذرت میخوام.
نیاز به یک چیز خوب متوجه شدیم در همه جهان یگان دفعه غربی ها آله سازی خود جهان سیما که می سازند، تمام این رهبران را که متوجه شدن که برای به یک دوستمی که میگن به سواد آدم کش در روزهایی که فرض مثال مجاهدین تمامی در جهاد بودن، اما که به نام گلمگم ای آدم چیز نبود که تاپن نزدن و چیز نبود که نکردن و غرب متوجه شد که همین بهترین یک حالی که میتونم در مقابل هزیب مردم استعمالشان کنم اینا را فقط شکست از همین را توسط از طریق ترکیه یک قهرمان در مقابل از تا هر رهبر میره که تدی اطلاف میکنه. همین آقای اشرف غنی همون زمانی که کرده شما دار نفسالش خودتانم نشر کردین که چی نبود نگفت یا فرض مثال همین مجددی سیدیامی
بله درست است.
هر یک هزینان سیدی آدم هست دای کمونست دای آخر پس میرن منی اطلاف میکنن. آیا جهان حالت مردم کنجوز ساخته که شما متوجه شدین که امیر به سواد به شما از جا کنه بالاتر است. اینا پیش از ما
میرن درست است.
کانترکت کردن رو یا حتی پروفیسر کمید درس خانده ایجاد بابو شد رفت معاون خود بگیر. اگر خدا نخواسته اشرف غنی که 46 تا این ریاست جمهوری بودن این آدم پادشاه افغانستان است.
بله
متوجه میشه. دیگه اینکه سه یک تعدادی نگاه محجیج بیچاره زحمت کشیدن همین پیسه خودم مصرف کنن یا این پیسه را گرفتن اینا پشت لیاف مولانا نصرالدین رفتن. او برادر او بخواهیم نخواهیم کرده قسم به سیستم تقلب که جهان مثل اینمی دوستان خواسته که تربیه کنه که یک موره ها را مطابق میلشان نصب میکنه. در حقیقت ببینیم که عالمی 7 میلیون فرض مثال رای دادن، 7 میلیون ورق آمد، 14 میلیون چاپ شده. هفته دیگه برای تقلب دولت دوم دیگه وقت ساخته شده. اینا بخواهیم نخواهیم اول میره به دولت دوم خود زوردارا را کلده کلک کرد. اساس ببینیم سرسازهای می رسول در نشرات هم نمیکشه. گاهی سیاف هم میگن که پیش است، گاهی خودبینی میلال هم میگن پیش است، گاهی عبدالله فازوز اول نفرش صدا کرده که ما بودیم که معلوم نیست که در صندوقهای سربسته اینا چطور میفهمید. اشرف غنی در کل شهیدان نقطه نبود که ما بودیم. مگر اصلا شما سعی کنید که میفهمه کرده که این طرف خودش در جان خود است که زورآزمایی‌ها تشویق شود برای دور دوم اما خواست خدا بخواهد نخواهد پیاده میکنه که یک درک لنگر زور گه. شما باور کنید که کرده به طرف هم اشرف غنی هم استفاده میشه.
بله من پیشتر گفتم در اونجا هم نفر داره. بله چاره خدا کرده.
همین نفرهای خدا دو سه جای تقسیم کنه و آن خودش هم سعی ببینید عمل معاون اشرف غنی خلیلی معاون نشست و اون نفری که پالیش ریسته اون نفر خلیلی
بله معاون دوم اشرف غنی. بله آقای دانش
بطی اساسات. مگر افسوس به حال از این که یک چیز یارا بسیار آزردان ساخت. تمام همین سیاسیون متحد بودن مردم افغانستان که با پاهای رای رفتن زاره کل از یا کشیده. اینو من براتان میگم که با خدا شما باور کنید.
نه واقعا اینو به طالبا جواب ندادن، به خود کرزی جواب دادن که ببین که
امیر میگم که امیر به خود حکومت و به خود اصلاحداران جواب دادن. یک روز بشار مثل کل هزیار شما سعی کنید که چی رقم پسازای همالش میرسانه که شما ما عالی سازی مردم سازی و کرزی در نقطه اساس رسید. در نقطه اساس چطور اینا میچی میگه به امریکا من قرارداد امضا میکنم.
بسیار خنده دار است.
انتخابات دوری دورت بود.
بله انتخاب بله بسیار بسیار آدم مکار است بسیار زیبا.
اینو میخواستم از شما
زنده باشین. تشکر. کاملا درست.
دو معنی قرارداد میخوایم بکنه یعنی
نه امضا میکنه. حالا که امروز اعلان کرده مقبل است چیز زرار وزیر خارجه کرزی اعلان کرده که امضا میکنه. حتما کدام معامله است، باز هم پشت پرده کدام معامله است. تشکر بسیار. بیننده ارجمند هموطنان گرامی، از مدت است که طرفداران حامد کرزی در سراسر جهان تبلیغات عجیبی را برای انداختن است. تلویزیون آریان افغانستان برای یک تلویزیون تبلیغاتی یا تلویزیون دروغ ریا نام میبرند. شما شاهد هستین در مدت 8 سال گذشته، مخصوصا که ما در سطح جهانی نشرات داریم، هیچ وقت ما نخواستیم که دروغ و ریا و کذب همچون سردمداران دولت کابل به خورد مردم بتیم. گفتار ما، تبصره های ما، صحبت های ما بر مبنای واقعیت هایی بوده که در افغانستان او جریان داشته. اگر ما گفتیم وزیر رشوه خورده یا دوسیه داره، ما مستند بوده. اگر گفتیم حامد کرزی در حق مردم افغانستان جفا کرده، مستند بوده. اگر وزیر یا معاون رئیس جمهور یا هر شخص از اراکین دولت افغانستان پول نقد از افغانستان خارج کرده، اگر در همان زمان مرا متهم به این کردین که این آدم ساخته و این کذب و ریا و دروغ است، یک ماه 2 سال بعد اسناد منتشر شده در سطح جهانی که رهبران یا مقامات دولت افغانستان مقادیری هنگفت پول از افغانستان خارج کردن. اگر در مورد غصب میلیون ها جریب زمین صحبت کردیم، اسناد و شواهد و مدارک زیاد منتشر شده. حتی روسی جرگه افغانستان که خود گفته مردم جایگاه و پناهگاه جنایتکارای جنگی است، اونا هم اعلان کردند که بله بیش از 1.5 میلیون جریب زمین در افغانستان زمین دولتی غصب شده. این که زمین مردم بیچاره بیگناهی که هیچ وسیله و واسطه ندارند غصب شده و بیت المال به تاراج برده رفته و بانک ها خالی شده و بانک هم سقوط کرده. در قاچاق مواد مخدر از بلندترین و ارشدترین مامور دولت افغانستان که دست داشته تا پایین ترینش. در فساد گسترده اداری که در افغانستان شما دیدین که وزرا و نایفم قضات و والی ها و کیها نبودن که دست نداشتن. آیا آنچه را که ما در 8 سال گذشته گفتیم بغیر از این چیزا بوده؟ در هیچ مورد ما بدون سند صحبت نکردیم. اگر گاهی شوخی کردیم یا مزاح کردیم یا طنز گفتیم، خود طنز هم شوخی و مزاح هم نمک زندگی است، اما این نکردیم که ما بهتان کرده باشم. ما خدمت خانواده کرزی اعلان میکنم که ما با هیچ خانواده، با هیچ قوم طرف نیستم. هر شخص نظر به عملکرد خودش باش معامله میکنم. این یک چیز معقول است. ما هم انسان هستیم و شما در 12 سال گذشته دیدین که افغانستان با وجود سرازیر شدن بیش از 670 میلیون دلار هیچ روی خوبی را مردمش ندید. هنوز از ما مهاجرین داخلی در افغانستان داریم. هنوز از بیش از 60-70% مردم افغانستان در زیر خط فقر زندگی میکنن. هنوز است. ببینید که ملت افغانستان هنوز توانایی نداشتن که حتی در یک ماه یک وقت غذای درست بخورن. آیا ما دروغ میگم؟ مطبوعات افغانستان اونا مطبوعات پیشرفته شدن و نیفهم مطبوعات دموکراتیک شدن، در حالی که همه ایشان ماشخورای کشورهای اجنبی هستند. همه ایشان در خدمت تنظیم‌های جهادی هستند. همه ایشان در خدمت آنهایی هستند که در افغانستان مرتکب جرم، جنایت و جفا شدند. یک و دوتایشان نه، همه ایشان. هر کدام میشه ببینید در جای بسته است. فلان تلویزیون درجه 1 است، با پول خارجی، با حمایت خارجی و با حمایت جنگ سالار. یک از تلویزیون‌ها در افغانستان 4 میلیون دلار در انتخابات که روزشنبه به پایان رسید اینا عاید کردن. هر چی که به نام اقتصاد آزاد، اقتصاد بازار آزاد، هر چی که درشان خواسته قیمت یک اعلان مانده و او پول باد آمده و باد آورده که برای یک کاندید ریاست جمهوری آمده بود اونا مصرف کردن. خلاص ما تا هنوز پول خود از یک کاندید ریاست جمهوری پول ایرانات خود نگرفتیم. خب اونا حتما پول میپردازن، اما به این معنا نیست. یعنی خدا نخواسته نشه که باز مشکل پیدا شود که در پرداخت پول پس از اینکه مخصوصا نتیجه انتخابات اعلان میشه باز اونها سر تعلل بورزن و یا ای که خدای نخواسته منکر شود. تلویزیون آریان افغانستان بفرمایید.
سلام، خسته نباشید.
زنده باشین، لطف میکنین، مهربان هستین. ما در خدمت شما هستم، بفرمایید. بله میشنوم شما را، بفرمایید. تلویزیون آریان افغانستان بفرمایید.
سلام علیکم.
من هم خدمت شما سلام احترام تقدیم میکنم، بفرمایید.
زنده باش آقای مسکنیاری عزیز، تشکر از این برنامه خوبتان، یک جهان تشکر. اول با شما، اول با مردم افغانستان انتخابات 16 منو تبریک میگم، بعد به خود شما. بعد شما گفتین که آقای کرزی نفهم چرا هم گفتم از پیش شما خفه میشه آقای مسکنیار صاحب.
من رای نمیزنم که خفه میشه، حالا که خوش بوده چی که بعد از این خفه شه و کار کنه دیگه.
بله، حقیقت تلخ است. به هر کی که باشه او حقیقت نمیپذیره. خب حقیقت تلخ است. بالاخره شما ببینید که از مامورایی که در افغانستان روشاب نخره و سر کار آمده نمیتونه. یکی از قماندانای ارتش افغانستان در ولایت کنر وظیفه اجرا میکرد، بیادر من قطعی از اونها سرباز بود. بالو گفت که وقتی که نیروهای پاکستانی از او ور مرد سر ما که تیراندازی میکرد، در یک روز 15 تا مامور پاکستان ما کشتیم. وقتی که 15 تا مامور پاکستان کشتیم، 2 روز بعدش همون قماندان ارشد به خاطر که تو پاکستانی را کشته گفته از اونجا تبدیلش کرد به ولایت قندهار. اینا کلشان خائن هستن. بعد از اون مثلا به هر تصمیم نه فقط در انتخابات، به هر تصمیم ملت افغانستان سنگ تمام گذاشته، ملت افغانستان وظیفه خودش را انجام دادن. این یعنی رهبرای افغانستان بوده که به خائن و وطن فروشی و زیر سلطه از او خودشان را پردهشان کرده و پولا را جمع کرده. در یک گزارش دیگه شما آمد که بیادر کرده در یک هتل آمریکا کار میکرد، ولی برو ببین که کارخانه سمیت پولخمری را حال او جداده از تمام خودش کرده، میلیون ها دلار برای به جیب خود داره. چند تا کارخانه دیگه که بالاخره اون من نامش نمیفهم از او. این از جنایتکارا این کارا رو میکنه. در یک روز دیگه شما گفتین که آقای کرزی قدرت خودش اعلان کرد که ما با مفت گرفتن یا
با آسانی اعلان نمیکنم.
با مفت گرفتن یا با مفت اعلانش نمیکنم یا با مفت نگرفتن.
گفت حالا که دگیر محمده اعلانش نمیکنم.
بله دار اوی گفتگی رو نه در برنامه شما فکر کنم که 1 سال پیش گفتین یا 6 ماه پیش گفتین که من برنامه رو گوش گرفتم. آدمو که شما امروز اومده که بعد از انتخابات این آقای کرزی با این مفت اعلان کردن نیست، بالاخره که دیگه بعد یک کاندید یا یک رقمی کرده بالاخره انتخابات و دور دوم میبره و اما نفر مورد نظرش تعیین میکنه، خودش رئیس جمهور دوم میشه. تشکر آقای مسکنی.
زنده باشین، مهربان هستین.
زنگ زده بودم متاسفانه که کلی گپا ما گفتم. 2 تا سوالی که گفت داشتم آقای اشرف غنی او رو نتونستم بگم. 2 تا سوال من بود که گفت که من 12 سال به مردم افغانستان مفت کار کردم، دیگه که عمر خود صرف تحصیل کردم. من میخواستم قبل از انتخابات یعنی آقای اشرف غنی بپرسم که وقتی که تو عمر خود تحصیل تیر کردی و 12 سال با مردم افغانستان مفت کار کردی، این 10 میلیون دلاری که در کمپین مصرف کردی از کجا آوردی؟ قرار تو بغیر از یک کوچی بیشتر بود، اگر یک کوچی بود تو 4 تا بوستان بیشتر نداشت، پس پول از کجا آمد؟ تشکر از آقای
زنده باد. تشکر مهربان هستین. زنده باشین. تشکر مهربان هستین. یک تلفن دیگر هم میگیرم برای زیاد انتظار کشیدن. تلویزیون آریان افغانستان بفرمایید.
بخیر آقای مسکنیار، احترامات خدمت شما.
زنده باشین. سپاسم خدمت شما سلام احترام تقدیم میکنیم. بفرمایید.
با موضوع کرزی کلمه خواهی که چی امضا کنه برای
سند امنیتی را
و این آدم این باید محاکمه شود که در این وقتی که توی امضا نکنی نه که در این وقتی که کمک‌های امریکا سر افغانستان کم شد قطع شد و حال امضا میکنه. این آدم در این موضوع باید محاکمه شود و این جزای سخت بگیرد. از این ملت مردم باید پرسان کرد یک وقت چون امضا نکردی که در این وقتی که کمک‌ها قطع شد و بسیار کمک‌ها
بسیار صدمات زیادی مردم افغانستان داره
ولی امضا میکنه. یه بار مردم افغانستان شورای افغانستان به پرسان کرد خائن ملی که چرا این کار کردی و این کاری که برگاهی چی کم شده می دست می خود رئیس کمیسیون انتخابات و خود می رئیس جمهور هستند که برای دیگه چند وقت دیگه هم در ریاست جمهوری بالا و انتخابات در دوره رو بره این دستی 2 نفر باید رئیس محکمه رئیس انتخابات باید محکمه شو کار خود از و کرده است برای
درست است. تشکر. رئیس کمیسیون انتخابات آقای نورستانی خود در یک صحبت تلفنی در یک میز مدور تلویزیونی در تلویزیون آریانا آقای بیات اعتراف کرد که ما به خاطر ای که انتخابات برگزار شود تقلب کردیم. اونم بود تقلب شروع است که خشت اول مانده شده با تقلب، اینم تقلب پیش میره. مثل یک عمارت است به نام باشین قصر بختاور. قصر بختاور در کابل ساخته شده اما کج. هر کسی که بگی برادر در اونجا برو یک آپارتمان بی برادری کج است یک روز میفته. این دولت افغانستان هم این انتخابات افغانستان و آینده افغانستان هم مثل قصر بختاور واری شده. خشت اولش کج نهاده شده تا سرایا میره و دیوار کج. خب بیننده ارجمند هموطنان گرامی، ما فردا و روز پنجشنبه هم پیش رو داریم. انشالله صحبت های جالب دیگه هم خدمت شما ارائه خواهیم کرد. همه شما را به خدا میسپاریم. خداوند یار و یاور و حامی و پشتیبان همه ایتان در هر کجای دنیا که زندگی میکنیم.
آریانا افغانستان یگانه شبکه تلویزیونی ملی افغانها در خارج از کشور.
This is the ultimate question for you. Are you ready to be your own boss and achieve your dreams? Liberty Business Advisors of San Francisco, Inc. is a full-service business consulting and brokerage firm specializing in small to medium-sized businesses. At Liberty Business Advisors, our professionals include lawyers, accountants, realtors who have years of experience in selling and marketing business opportunities. Call Business Advisors for free consultation if you're thinking about selling or planning buying a new business. Call us at 925-932-2450. Visit us on our website, lbaweb.com, or follow us on Facebook.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Business Advisor 101. Today is April 7th, 2014. Welcome to the show.
Good evening. This is Olive. About some of the business segments that Barmal Garan will start. Go ahead, Barmal.
Thank you. So what I'll do is, like in the first segment, I'll do what we call a money watch. Today, on Friday, actually, many of the biotech stocks and stocks in the social media companies like Facebook and Twitter sold off. The Nasdaq composite, which is heavily concentrated on the tech stocks, was down over 100 points on Friday. And technology stocks fell in Asia as well and Europe. On Friday, the Dow Jones Industrial Average actually reached a new 52-week high. It was actually the highest ever on the record, but then it sold off later in the day. Gold futures also slipped to $12.99 an ounce, and also crude oil futures lost about less than 6% to $100.51 a barrel. The dollar edged lower against the euro and the yen. Now, let me ask you this, Olive John. Sometimes, because now we've changed the show a little bit, so we're going to make it more interactive between me and you, based on some suggestions from the viewers. So, do you know the largest economy in Africa is?
You know what, Parmal? I never thought about it, but go ahead and tell me.
Well, actually, we just found out that Nigeria actually is the largest economy in Africa, and the reason is Nigeria is the largest oil producer in Africa. So and Nigeria is actually the most has the most population in Africa as well, with 170 million people. So this just happened recently, and the reason is because Nigeria has a very growing consumer markets and a growing capital markets. Okay.
Wow, Parmal John, you really did your study.
I have to do my research. So one other thing is that actually I found out that the lenders are a little bit easing off because the mortgage industry is sort of like, because the rates have gone up a little bit, so the volume has decreased tremendously in the lending industry. So that's why the banks are looking for businesses. So I want to say this to the viewers that if you had applied a few months ago when the volume was really high, now you can actually go back and contact your lender, because you might be actually qualified even as with a score of 620 or below. So that's something, because I heard also on the radio that they reconfirmed that a lot of lenders are looking for businesses. So they might be willing to work with you, and they might ease their restrictions even when it comes to the down payment of buying a house, or even if you're going to refinance the house. So that might be something helpful for the viewers.
Is that something in U.S. or?
Just in the U.S. Oh, yes, we're focused on it in this sec. So, Olive John, let's go focus on the Afghan election. As you know, over the weekend, Afghanistan actually had a tremendous election process. We actually had over 12 million eligible voters in this election.
Really?
For you, we actually had 7 million people that voted in Afghanistan over the weekend. And that was huge because it was unexpected. About time, yes. And out of the 7 million, 35% were women. So that's a huge, significant impact for the Afghans. And going forward, hopefully, this would be something beneficial to the society.
It was definitely an exciting week, just following through on Facebook, just seeing all these women, all ages covered, and still having that energy, that excitement to go and vote. It was definitely something.
It was definitely, yes. And then from Wall Street Journal, I was reading something today that based on their partial election results from roughly 100 polling stations, which included Kabul, cities of Mazar-e-Sharif, Kandahar, Gardez, Jalalabad, because there's actually 20,000 nationwide polling areas. So out of those cities that they actually did, the 100 polling, they found out that Mr. Ashraf Ghani and Dr. Abdullah Abdullah are actually leading the pack. And the question is that more than likely you're going to have a runoff, meaning that you're going to have two candidates, but basically these two candidates, none of them are going to win the majority. So the question is, first of all, we have to wait for a few weeks before we get the final results, but it looks like Dr. Abdullah Abdullah and Ashraf Ghani are the leading candidates, but they're going to eventually have a runoff, and hopefully it will come to a peaceful resolution, because that's the key, because at the end of the day, it's the Afghan voices, the Afghan people that need to be catered to.
Absolutely.
And they've actually made a statement.
We'll wish them
yes.
luck.
And then also, let's talk about a little bit about the Malaysian airliner, because we've been talking about it on the show. The Australian Navy actually picked up an extended underwater signal in the search zone for Malaysia Airline Flight 370, and they, as of this happened this Monday. So that means the black box was they think there was a black box of sending those signals. So this is going to be the best lead so far in terms of the search. So hopefully this would be a solid lead, because people want to find a closure for this biggest mystery in aviation. And especially also the family members, because they want to know what happened to their family members.
Absolutely.
So it's a really tragic situation.
Sure is.
So Olive John, before we finish this segment, I showed you a little chart that was very interesting, right?
I know, you always surprise me.
Yes. Do you know we have 7 billion people on this earth, right?
I knew that.
Okay. Do you know what they do?
Well, let's hope they're all working, but we do have some groups that are not working. You go ahead and tell me, what do you have?
Okay, well, there's 7 billion people that actually live on this planet, right? So over 400 million of them are entrepreneurs, which is a good thing. But 430 million are unemployed. Well,
I'm not too surprised.
Okay, and 577 million are actually older than the age of 64. Okay.
Barmal John, let's tell me what percent of Afghans are we talking there?
Well, when if it comes to our Afghans, I think we know for one thing that our Afghans in, let's say, in the U.S. and some of the other countries, I think the when it comes to entrepreneurs, I think that really relates to them because we have a lot of small business owners and a lot of entrepreneurs in our community. So I think that would be a good, huge chunk of the segment. But we also have a lot that don't work, right?
Well, we do have, just working this past few weeks on business projects for this show. We're running around a lot of people, a lot of young people, a lot of older generation, different class, with low income, high income. Almost a lot of people we come around, they're interested in, having their own business. So that's a positive.
And also, so just to finish this chart, we have 1.4 billion in agriculture. As we know, Afghanistan was always a very much an agricultural country. So that also relates to our country in a sense. And there's about 1.7 billion that work in services, so meaning maybe in the government and sector and stuff like that, public sector. And then you have about 2 billion that are just young. They're under the age of 15. Yes, they're just hanging. They're enjoying life.
They're enjoying life. Thank you so much, Barbara. That was interesting.
Sure. And then you have some updates for us as well.
I sure do. I do want to mention Rona Johns Popal again. I made it my business to go to her class every Wednesday from 12 to and opening businesses or learning how to open or have ideas. This class actually helps them to come up with ideas or ideas that they have, where to start. They actually have banks in the class as well to help them, get loans or where to get loans or how to get loans. And there are also some people in the class that already have very successful businesses. For example, Bilqis-Jana Zarabi with Ariana Sweets. She's also in the class, which sometimes she shares her own stories, and the class is open for anybody to come to class and learn. Even if you do have businesses, please do go to the class and give your ideas and help and be a good mentor to new business owners. And also, Barmal John, a few weeks ago, we joined the Business Mixer.
Sure.
At New York Live.
Yes, we did.
So we have some segments coming up?
Yes, our production team is putting the final, editing and final, so that way we can actually hopefully show some of those segments in 10 or 15 minutes increments in next week's show.
Awesome. And we do, one of these businesses that we're working closely that hopefully we're going to have them come to the show is Body Wrap.
Oh, really?
Body Wrap.
Could you tell me a little bit about Body Wrap? What is that?
Yes, absolutely. It's a what should I say? It's a system of wrapping body, basically, with a piece of cloth that's very popular in Hollywood.
What is that, for migraine headache or something?
For losing weight.
Oh, for losing weight.
Believe it or not,
okay.
you just wrap yourself with a piece of fabric. It takes about 8 hours, and you lose weight. And we'll get to tell you more about that
in the coming days. Yes, that's good to know.
Very interesting. Another thing I don't want to forget, we met with the gentleman today, Ray Wahab.
Yes.
Do you want to?
Yes, actually, I got to know Mr. Wahab a few days ago, but he's a true Afghan gentleman because the beautiful thing about him is because he's a very successful business person, and they actually run the #1 Mercedes shop, retail dealership in the United States. But the man is so humble, but he's also very caring. So about 60 to 70% of the people that work there are Afghans.
Yeah, he said he tries his best to only hire Afghans just to support and help the community in his own unique way.
And that's great because, just like having individuals like him, it inspires us because that means that we should never give up on our community and we should always help. And also, you mentioned Ariana Sweets. Actually, a few days ago, I was walking in Fremont and I saw Bilqis-Jan, and she was walking around. And she was, she was like, she had, she was going back and forth with different stores because I guess they have a new line of rice or something, and hopefully they can be on the show. But really, I admired the fact that she was going from different stores as a small business owner and as an entrepreneur, and working and doing everything that she can on her power to help her business. But so it's like we admire that because there are a lot of successful Afghan women that have businesses.
We should recognize them, the hardworking men and women that Bay Area, Fremont especially, is popular for the biggest Afghan community, and it feels good to see all these Afghan men and women working so hard for their businesses to succeed.
Well, thank you. So I guess we're pretty much done with this segment, unless you have a couple of other things.
I have one more thank you
Sure.
to say to Waida Jan from Waida Jan Salon, the Shahr Newark. I've been going there myself, and sometimes people ask me about my hair. So I have to mention, thank you, Waida Jan, a great salon. She is in Newark.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, we finished our first segment, and so what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick little break, but we'll be right back. And when we come back in the next segment, we'll have Miss Lida Sadati. She actually works for Liberty Business Advisor, and she's been one of the most successful agents with the company, and she's going to come and share some of her stories. So thank you, and we'll be right back.
This is the ultimate question for you. Are you ready to be your own boss and achieve your dreams? Liberty Business Advisors of San Francisco, Inc. is a full-service business consulting and brokerage firm specializing in small to medium-sized businesses. At Liberty Business Advisors, our professionals include lawyers, accountants, realtors who have years of experience in selling and marketing business opportunities. Call Business Advisors for free consultation if you're thinking about selling or planning buying a new business. Call us at 925-932-2450. Visit us on our website, lbaweb.com, or follow us on Facebook.
Grandma, we need to have a very important conversation.
About what?
About taking care of you.
You're doing just fine taking care of me.
Grandma, I love you, but this is hard to talk about.
Go ahead. You've always been good with words.
We need a conversation about your end-of-life wishes.
And you're ready to have this conversation now?
Yes, Grandma, before this game is over.
Hi, this is Ice Sly. It's never easy having a conversation about end-of-life care. However, it's a conversation you can have in any language, anywhere, anytime. Talk to your loved ones about how they want to be treated at end of life, find out how much medical treatment they prefer and when they want it to stop. Right now, Comfort Homesec is collaborating with Alameda County to conduct free monthly trainings on how to have the conversation. To register or to get more information, contact the phone number or email on your screen. Thank you.
Welcome back to Business Advisors 101. So now, Miss Olive, we're ready for our second segment of the show. So first of all, in this segment, we're going to introduce Miss Lida Sadati, and she works for Liberty Business Advisors. And so, Miss Sadati, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Welcome, audience. Hello.
Lida Jan, welcome to the show. I am pleased to say that it's the first time meeting Lida Jan, but Lida Jan's, I should say, sister-in-law, Nima Jan Sadati, is a good friend of mine for a few years. Nima Jan also is in the same business involved with Lida Jan. So Lida Jan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been a real estate agent since 2007. Before that, I did mortgages. I loved making people's dream come true and getting homes and so forth. But the mortgage industry, as everybody knows, went soft because of the crash and so forth. So this was, since I didn't want to sell homes, this was the only thing that made sense, since I already had background in owning businesses before I was 21. I had my first business, my second one when I was 21, and I sold it when I was 26. So being on both sides of the coin, buying and selling, and the fear you have of selling, the fear you have of buying, all of that played into the factor. And again, I do what I love, which is basically make people's dream come true, whether they want to buy or they want to sell, because not as people think it's about their business is not bad. People get tired of that business after a while and they want to change.
So would you say that the fact that your experience as a small business owner, being an entrepreneur, kind of attracted you to join Liberty Business?
Because this is what I can do as I take it as it's my own personal business to sell other people's businesses. So whatever amount of time I have to put into it, that's my choice into it. So
because we're once again, we're not talking about residential business in terms of residential transaction. We're talking about actually in terms of buying and selling of businesses. So that being said, Ms. Sadati, you've been in this business for a while. What would be your suggestion or advice for buyers and sellers in terms of when they're getting ready to either buy a business or sell their business?
For buyers, make sure you do some due diligence before you begin to buy. What I mean on those terms is if you have no experience in gas stations or restaurants, but you like to get into that business, why not do it? But understand the concepts behind those industries. Certain industries, we call them passive income industries, like gas stations or laundry places, coin-operated laundries. Some of those things are unique because you don't have to be there 24 hours to work them yourself. But restaurants, it's a lot of hard work, and you definitely got to love people in order to do it and so forth. Also understand your budget. How much do you have? If you're looking at a gas station, know that it's going to take you $100,000 in inventory of the mart plus the gas itself before you can finalize that transaction, plus the cost of buying that business in itself. So $40,000 to buy a gas station doesn't work. You need to have a couple of $100,000 to get you to the door.
So in other words, what you're saying is like at least you in order to really buy a decent business, you're looking at least you have to come up with at least $100,000 to $200,000 of minimum down payment. Is that correct? Am I reading?
Sure. Certain businesses, yes. Certain businesses, no. There's other businesses that you need, $80,000, $90,000 will buy you something, but those we call asset sale. Basically, what we're doing is we're selling you the equipment that's in there, plus the lease that the landlord is willing to work with you on. It doesn't mean you're buying a strong business that's going to make you $150,000. What is it? $50,000-$60,000 when you're only spending $70,000 or $30,000. We do have listings of those natures too. Certain businesses, they take a little bit more money. Certain businesses, they take a little bit less. But generally, you want to have at least about $100,000. It's a good idea to have at least $100,000 before you approach and understand what you want to buy. That's the number one thing.
And Leader John, do you want to tell us about what makes Liberty Business Advisors special and unique? We know you're unique.
I'm very unique.
It's all about you, right?
All about me. It is all about me, actually.
You are Liberty Business Advisor.
I am the best agent there is.
Okay.
What makes us special is we're one of the most diverse offices in means of ethnicity that we encumbered in our office. Not to mention we're one of the largest, if not the biggest, business opportunity agents. That's office that we have in just about all markets, liquor stores. And one of the biggest things that we do that other offices don't do, or other agents don't do, because this is the only way we make a living is through businesses, we also help educate to some level the buyer before they make a purchase. Understand if it's a business that's restaurant, food costs. If it's a laundromat, understand what takes to run a good laundromat. If it's a gas station, understand how much it takes to pump. Where is the money really you're making money? Is it the gas, or is it the mart, or is it the car wash? Things of that nature. So those are the things that we can bring to the table for the buyer. And for the seller, what we bring to the table is all the knowledge that we carry within ourselves and the database of clients that we carry, that we're always working with to find them another location. Fremont is an amazing area to do business in. It's a lot of demand for those places in Fremont, Newark, Union City, San Jose, all Greater Bay Area. So
well, that's great to know. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, on the screen you see her information, and you're more than welcome to call Ms. Sadati at 925-325-2434. Yes. And if you could also tell us, actually, you might have some listings that you wanted to share with the viewers, if you don't mind.
Yeah, we were talking about SBA loans and loans. The banks are willing to give loans. We have, this is a beautiful picture of a listing we have. It's a mechanic shop that's doing phenomenal business. We took it to the SBA just to see what they would, can they get a loan on this or not? How would it work? And the loan officer was amazed how much profit this location is making. They're doing over 150 net easily, and they approved them with $80,000 down. You can buy a $400,000 mechanic shop right now.
And is that something that you're working on? Is it like a? Is
my proud little baby.
Is it in somewhere in Northern California? I assume, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if somebody if they're interested about having their own mechanic shop, then you will contact Ms. Sadati, and her number is there. In case if you can't connect with her, you're more than welcome to call me on my number, which is listed, and I'll pass on the information to Ms. Sadati. Any other listings would you like to share with us?
We have a restaurant that's 4,500 square foot. The rent is $15,000. It's again in the San Ramon, Danville, Dublin area. They're doing amazing number. Again, that was SBA approved easily. You can walk into that location. It's a restaurant and bar.
Okay.
So we also have other listings that are for markets. We have a couple of markets that are about 400,000. They're grossing over $1 million from what the seller is claiming.
And also, I just want to touch something because I don't want to confuse the viewers. So let's say you have about $200,000 to $300,000 down payment, but sometimes, let's say you buy a gas station, you might qualify for the SBA loan for the part of the transaction, or perhaps even a carryover by the seller. Is that correct?
Yes, but you don't always have to get an SBA loan. Certain times, that's the beauty of what we do and what we do for the sellers and the buyers. We can negotiate it that the seller carries a little bit of a note. SBA just makes it easier because for the buyer, it's that confidence that, okay, somebody else has looked at the books and records and understands it and they're okay with it. But sometimes savvy shoppers, they don't need that. All they need is for somebody to carry it and finish it up quickly. So we ask sellers to carry a note if they're, choose to. But it's a seller's choice if they choose to or not.
Any other listings, or did you want to share?
We have many listings. All you need to do is call our number.
You're like Costco.
I am like Costco.
Which aisle? You got the restaurant aisle. You got the gas station,
the liquor store.
I had a question for you, but I think after listening to everything you shared, I think you answered my question. I wanted to know, why should other agents consider working with you?
Well, it's not working with me, although I'm a great person to work with.
They can share the lead with you, right?
There's unsurpassed amount of support in our office. There's a lot of seasoned agents that help the newcomers coming in. The newcomer just has to be patient until things fall into place. It's like any other business that you start from scratch. You have to put heart and soul into it until you bring it up. Also, the fact that we have this very seasoned broker and office in general. We have over 40 agents that are working there, so they're all working very hard to make things happen, and we brainstorm about things. I can't make this happen. Why am I not getting calls on this particular thing? Then the other agent said, well, did you try this? Maybe try that. And it helps. And those are the things that as a newcomer, you don't really know.
Sounds like a great team.
It is a great team.
And by the way, I just want to share that even that Ms. Sadati actually can speak some Farsi, so our viewers that if you want to call her and you want to say a few things in Farsi, more than she'll answer a few things in Farsi.
بله فارسیم بد نیستش زیاد خوب نیست اما بد نیست.
چون بسیار خوب است.
میتونم حرف بزنم.
Olive John, any more questions?
I think Lydia John really answered all the questions. Thank you so much for coming to the show.
Any closing remarks before we say goodbye?
We're one of the largest companies that exist in selling businesses. If you have a listing you would like me to take a look at and to see what it would appraise for, I'd be more than happy to help you with that. If you're a buyer and you're looking to purchase any kind of a business, please contact me. I'll be happy to help you with that too.
I think you're so at ease in front of the television. I think more than likely it looks like we're going to have you again very soon. So
comfortable.
Very comfortable, right? Very natural. So from now on.
We do this on a regular basis in the office.
Plus it's fun.
Everyday thing.
It's everyday.
It's everything. So we really appreciate your time and the fact that you came in and shared what makes Liberty Business Advisors special, and the fact is that you have a lot of seasoned agents and viewers are interested in purchasing or selling their businesses. So please contact Liberty Business Advisors of San Francisco, and they will definitely assist you and guide you through the process.
And not to mention, Barmal John, just in case our viewers lose the number or forget to get the email, is the email on the...
Actually, no, the email is not there. But they can actually email it to me, to businessadvisors101@gmail.com, and then I'll make sure I'll forward that to Ms. Sadati. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. And then now, after this break, we're going to continue on with our conversation from last week, and we couldn't finish because of technical.
I don't know what happened.
Somehow we had a blackout. I feel like I was in Afghanistan or India or somewhere with the blackout. So anyway,
that happens.
But we'll be right back. And
this is the ultimate question for you. Are you ready to be your own boss and achieve your dreams? Liberty Business Advisors of San Francisco, Inc. is a full-service business consulting and brokerage firm specializing in small to medium-sized businesses. At Liberty Business Advisors, our professionals include lawyers, accountants, realtors who have years of experience in selling and marketing business opportunities. Call Business Advisors for free consultation if you're thinking about selling or planning buying a new business. Call us at 925-932-2450. Visit us on our website, lbaweb.com, or follow us on Facebook.
Grandma, we need to have a very important conversation.
About what?
About taking care of you.
You're doing just fine taking care of me.
Grandma, I love you, but this is hard to talk about.
Go ahead. You've always been good with words.
We need a conversation about your end-of-life wishes.
And you're ready to have this conversation now?
Yes, Grandma, before this game is over.
Hi, this is Ice Sly. It's never easy having a conversation about end-of-life care. However, it's a conversation you can have in any language, anywhere, anytime. Talk to your loved ones about how they want to be treated at end of life. Find out how much medical treatment they prefer and when they want it to stop. Right now, Comfort Homestake is collaborating with Alameda County to conduct free monthly trainings on how to have the conversation. To register or to get more information, contact the phone number or email on your screen. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Business Advisors 101. So anyways, we're into our third segment of the show, Olive. And so I want you to go ahead and introduce our next guest, please.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what happened last time, but here is Miss Marilyn again. So
By popular demand.
Happy to be back.
Welcome
Here
back.
we go, to be continued. So we're going to have Marilyn start from beginning again. Go ahead, Marilyn, talk a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself.
Well, thank you very much, Olive and Barmel.
Thank you. Welcome.
Well, to introduce myself, I would like to say that I've always been a believer. And so for many years I've worked in business and in government, and it wasn't until my mother became ill that I found my place in life, that by her bedside and in hospicing her, taking care of her as she was ill and until she passed away, meant so much to me that I gave the rest of my life to that effort. And so I was lucky enough to meet the director of the Healthcare Services Agency for Alameda County, and we talked about the investment that the county has made in seniors and in end-of-life care, and realized that it was very little. And so my program, Getting the Most Out of Life, is designed to help people understand how to live well for all of their life.
Wow, great program. Sounds like, honestly, sounds like our community needs and has to offer. Marilyn, do you want to tell us about a hospice program by itself?
Yes, I would like to talk a little bit about hospice, because hospice is what I would think of as the gold standard. If you have a terminal illness or you're seriously ill and you want to be at home with your family, if you choose hospice, then you can be at home with your family, and home can be anywhere. It can be in an apartment, it can be in a single family, it can be in a hotel, and we've even provided hospice services to the homeless under bridges. So anywhere you live, then you ask for hospice, and a hospice team will include a doctor and a social worker and a nurse and a spiritual care provider and a volunteer. And this group of people will, as you choose, will come into your home and help your family, help the caregiver, help you as a patient to live well, so that you're not in any pain and you are enjoying your life as long as possible. And it is also a very big benefit for the caregiver, because it helps the caregiver know what to expect.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about who qualifies for this program?
Yes, hospice is a Medi-Cal as well as a Medicare benefit, and even people with private insurance can choose hospice. And even those people who don't have any insurance can choose hospice, and the hospice organizations, and I work with a coalition of hospice organizations, and each and every one of those organizations has a set aside for care for people who don't have money to pay.
Awesome. I just want to share that during the week I had the pleasure to meet with Rona John Popal again, and I did mention the program to her, and she's willing to help Marilyn in translating all the information that we have in Farsi.
Yes, I'm very appreciative of that and very excited about it, because the more that people understand in their own language about hospice and about advanced care planning, the better they can choose. And they can choose for themselves. They can choose a person to come into their home that speaks their language and knows their culture.
Absolutely.
So this is why it's very important to have a Farsi translation.
Absolutely. It's very important for our community. And also, I have a question about, I know you have an upcoming campaign coming up. Do you want to talk a little bit about that as well?
Yes, for the last 4 months we've been working with people and training people on how to talk to someone so that they can think about what kind of care they'd like to receive at end of life, or if they're in a hospital, to decide whether they want to be on a ventilator or in intensive care or would like to go home. And so we're celebrating National Healthcare Decision Day on Wednesday, April 16, at the Kaiser Center in Oakland, a totally free event that is sponsored by Alameda County and the Hospice Coalition, in particular the Sutter Healthcare, as well as Kaiser, and a community organization called Comfort Homesake. Are all the sponsoring so that we can come free of charge and complete forms and listen to a fabulous program of music, comedy, and dance.
Sounds.
And what is the address for this event? I know you have one in Oakland and one in Fremont, correct?
That's right.
If you don't mind sharing where exactly the address is going to be.
I'd be happy to.
Sure.
The event in Oakland is going to be at the Henry J. Kaiser Center, 300 Lakeside Drive in Oakland, California. Starts at 1 o'clock and will end at 5, and you can come anytime. The one in Fremont is an exciting new idea, and pardon the expression, it's called Death Cafe.
Very catchy.
Very catchy.
It got my attention. I was like, whoa.
We have a couple of crows on there too, but it's going to be hosted by a really wonderful. Anything they don't want to talk about, but it's a forum at Suju's Cafe on Thornton Avenue, 10:30 to 12:30 in the morning of April 16. We're going to have a Death Cafe where we are free to come in and talk about anything we want to talk about.
So just to